Hey everybody, it's Maiden. Wednesday, December 6th, 9:45, and we have like 2 weeks to Christmas. Christmas is on a Monday this year, so it's exciting. I'm talking to my Congress. I'm addressing my Congress, my House of Representatives, my president, my vice president. Yeah, just been kind of stepping back and looking at this and just watching you guys, what your focus is on and how you're approaching things. And there's so much there, and there's so much love for you guys, okay? You just need to know that. And we believe in you. We're praying for you, okay? So, yeah, the focal point of this video this morning is regarding ethics, okay? And that you can have cash flow from criminal flow, and then you can have cash flow from righteous flow, and the quantification is completely different, okay? So in honesty and integrity, that's what's holding water. Even though you guys know how to float everything, God is saying, I really have a vision if you guys will listen, okay? So I can't make you listen, and I can't make you respect what I'm saying, but I am one of we the people. And according to our Constitution, you guys are there working for me, okay? So I need that respect. Even though I'm little, you need to give me that respect, okay? And I'm not expecting you guys to be perfect, but I do need you to listen to this, okay? Because it's undermining our country. We're going to lose our country if you guys don't listen to me, all right? It is a national security issue, and that's already been documented, and I've given you guys that. Okay, but what I'm saying is true. There is a focal point on the human race in America because we are representing freedom. We are representing sovereignty, and we are representing the intelligence to get ourselves into the fullness of all that there is therein without causing harm to anyone. Okay, so we are very powerful, right? America is very powerful. And when you're looking at her, she doesn't look kind of like me. She's not, she's the youngest, she's the smallest. She's not the smallest, but as a superpower, yes, she is the smallest, I think. Okay, so I'm trying to say that America, you need to represent, okay? You need to represent in integrity. You need to get together and all agree that the focal point of all our work has to be in integrity. If it's not honest and there's criminal stuff, just put it to the side. You can't use it, okay? And all the criminal stuff that's going on that you can actually know, even in the privacy of your own heart, that everything is criminal. There is a criminal systemic issue. If you can say that in the privacy of your own heart, if you are Mr. President, if you are Mr. Vice President, if you are anybody in the cabinet, if you are anybody in the House of Representatives or in our Congress, both sides of the parties, if you can identify criminal behavior inside of the issue right there, and exactly, you can point to it and say it's right there, okay, then don't use it. Just set it aside. And that is why God has already said this is going to have to be a judgment call. Everybody together, okay, bipartisan. Judgment call. This has been criminal. If we really just sit there and look at it and don't have an agenda of anything else, we don't have any deadlines, we don't have anything. If you just look at it, okay, and go, you will find tremendous exploitation, okay, criminalities. So it's It's exploitation versus illiteracy, right? That's the double breach. I talked to you guys about that before. So legally, everybody's got a part in this, all right? And so, but there are sides that are far more incredibly criminal than being illiterate or ignorant of all therein, okay? So you put that in the balance, and there is a responsible side here. Okay, so I'm trying to say it can come back to accessory of damages, accessory of any kind of murder, injury, poverty, death, anything that you can really line up forensically. This is my point to you guys, that you have incentives here to just do the right thing and judge the wickedness of this thing historically. Okay, judge the wickedness. You will go down in the history books of heroes of America, can I just tell you? And that isn't the point, but that is legitimate intrinsic value upon your lives here in a big way. I've studied these numbers on these books, and let me tell you something. They're not expecting audits. They're not expecting audits. They're not expecting to be audited, and you should see what I find. Okay, so it is systemic. You can legitimize that in with expert witnesses. The Federal Reserve has dropped the ball. They have criminal, big time, responsible accountability on this. And I'm not saying to go over and, stand at the foot of the giant. I mean, I do say, let me tell you, I wouldn't have a problem if I had people around me, but this is a very injurious process that has been this way up to this point. Okay? And it's a bully. It's a bully kind of thing. And there's been nobody bigger than these guys. I need you guys to understand what I'm saying. Everybody that's helping in the process of our freedom, including our house and everybody, needs to understand that when you break through a stronghold, there is a binding of that strong man, the binding of the strong man. Let me read this to you. Okay. Okay, now what we're going to do as a country, okay, getting ourselves back to freedom, or to intrinsic and actual freedom, instead of a proxy or just a misnomer or a shadow or a color of truth. We're going to, our ambitions are to break through, right? So it says, verse 29, Matthew 12 rather. It says, or else how can we enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. Okay, so the he's there are important to look at. This is chapter 12 in Matthew. Let me just read you a little bit about this, because it has to do with satanic strongholds, okay? And the strongholds are just to steal. Just to go in and steal and rob and take, and that's a spirit. It is a demonic spirit. It is a demonic spirit. If that is really where your heart is at, to just take and seize and all that, okay? So this is important, that the human race, where Jesus Christ has, given us authority, dominion, and power, to stand our ground and to speak clearly and articulate the fact that the power is not there. I'm sorry, even though you are being a bully and you are strong-arming, the only reason why you have possession is because nobody has been bigger than you, okay? And, all of the damages that you have caused is and still continue to, if you don't set America free. Taxes is bondage, and you know it. Okay, you guys have figured out the loopholes, so you feel that you're free, but you've deceived yourself. Okay? True freedom is when you are in a system, yes, But that system doesn't own you, which is what you guys continue to encroach to do. Own the people, right? The true system doesn't own anyone. The true system finds value in flow of commerce. Okay, and you can say, well, that's what the Federal Reserve did. Negative. No. The Federal Reserve can say, yes, on some books we did do that. But they have choke chained everyone, and they have usurped big time and encroached amazing. I mean, okay, so we're under siege largely because we trusted and they failed their job. Okay? Until somebody can come forward with the Federal Reserve owners list, the Federal Reserve should be fired. And that should be the next conversation. You're done, and so they go, okay, what are you going to then? If you don't use the Federal Reserve, what are you going to do? Okay? Because here comes Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is the ethics issue on this. Okay? The strong man needs to be bound, right? There is no binding. When you're expanding, you're not binding. Okay? When you're binding something because it has been evil or wicked, you don't kill it. You bind it up and you take it to the vault, or where you think the vault is, and you have them sit there bound, and you get the vault to open, because they are the ones that can open it. It says right there in the scripture that he is the one that's gonna raid his own house. Okay? So when you bind the strong man is the one, it's the entity that has always kept back your freedom. Okay? This is not a freedom system. This is an entrapment system. This is a skeletal entrapment system. Right? That's not what we're creating here. What we want to create here for America. All right. So America, her identity is home. Okay? America's identity is an international home. Organically, it's turned to that, because people are looking for freedom. So America being home, to those who are born and raised here, hurry up. We need to get this established, all right? Because America is going sovereign. But the original families is this body of time we're in right now with our Congress, and with our specific Congress, and with our specific House, and with our specific president, and with our specific everyone who's in the every day checking in. On every level, you are so significant, and do not tell anybody. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not significant. If you have nothing to do, you need to go buy a journal and sit in the House as long as they will let you in those chambers, and record what you see and listen. And this is a process, a huge, gigantic process of freedom that you have to hurry up and do, hopefully by January 1st, because everything resets on January 1st. Okay? So here is the deal. Ethics is your winning combo. Ethics is your winning with your intelligence, with your heart of care for America, and your ethics. And if you don't know what ethics is, then you need to go tell somebody, I don't know what ethics is. And you need to tell somebody who is powerful, I don't know what ethics is. And if they say to you, I don't know what ethics is either, sweetie pie, then you need to go sit down and write a letter in your handwritten print to President Trump and say, I have the courage of my convictions, and I'm going to tell you right now, I really don't know what ethics is. Okay, because the exampleship needs to start in our House, in our Congress, in our president, in his cabinet. And I believe that people can be rascals, big time rascals. Dude, but you know what? I've seen big time rascals get transformed by the love of Jesus Christ. And dude, I am telling you, they are the most fabulous Christians when they get turned on to God and Jesus Christ and all that is therein, because it's a world. And they are the most wonderful people. They're so strong. They have a care. They are brave. They have courage. But it's all for God. They don't steal anymore. They don't lie. They stand for righteousness. They know what righteousness is. And they know when somebody's weak. And they don't let that exploitation happen. And they're amazing angels. So just because somebody's been a rascal doesn't mean that they can't be forgiven. And we're not to judge how somebody gets alone with God and bows their knee, closes their eye, and gives Jesus Christ that. You know what I mean? They lay it down before God. And God is powerful to forgive. God is so powerful to forgive, even the Ancient of Days. Okay, so it doesn't matter how old you are. Okay, if you're a senior congressman or senator or house, you guys, doesn't matter how old, God can forgive a whole lifetime through one sincere, amazing, real prayer with God. And He will move and He will show you He is real. Okay? So I am telling you the truth. I'm not lying to you. All right? Our most humble, meek, is not weak. Meek is not weak. The Maiden says, meek is not weak. Meek is power under control. You have control of yourself. The fruit of the Spirit is self-control. The presence of God is filled with self-control. It is amazing to be in the presence of God. Dude, I am serious. You talk about some presence of power, magnitude power. I am telling you, it is dimensional as quantum. You just like, you're blown away. But then He cares about you, and He talks right to you, and He's just so awesome. And He is not arrogant, and He can be if He wanted to be, but He isn't. And He loves you, and He's telling us that if we will not listen to any of the naysayers, and not listen to anybody that's filled with unbelief, and not listen to all of this doomsday stuff, but look at every day like He sees it, which is brand new in this compassion and love. And He's like, evidence that I am telling you, is the evidence of this, is that you're still here. You're all still here with this amazing opportunity to be righteous and care about righteousness again, like in the Ancient of Days. Let's do it. We don't have to, we can still go light speed, but can't we just do light speed with care? And can't we do our common law with care? This rocket mortgage thing is a complete desecration of the care of a true homestead purchase. Dude. So God is saying, there is respect that is required for the written word. There is respect that is required for all of us to really, really do well with God. And we are to set up this system that is not going to entrap, but support and empower the people. Then you will see your ROIs. You will see amazing tribute. You will see amazing partnerships. Dude, there is no way you can lose here. And you're going, well, Maiden, you're supposed to be representing the 1%. What about all the control we have right now? Right. The best thing for you guys to do on the control page is to put the people as the beneficiaries, complete of that control. Because before God, He gives you and I a free will. And that is what the support is to be, is that everybody can choose. Okay? So your current system is the broken system, and your new system is this system, intrinsic quantification, okay? And it's going to take integrity, or the whole thing is a sham. So your integrity on Bitcoin is 0. One more time, you guys have done this. Allowed for a hardworking individual to get their money because of the slave system. This is what they're doing with their money. They're going to casinos, right, that are programmed to lose, but that's been okay forever. They go to Bitcoin, and it is a roll of the dice, okay, as much as going into a casino. There is no security, and so you guys make it look, you have a brand on it that makes it look like psychologically like, okay, this is a gold mine. Okay, this is a gold mine. Now, if a person goes in on a position at Bitcoin, they have already given their credit card information. All of that you get into that with is the gold. Your information, your access, your ability to charge your card, all therein. Okay? So if it goes high, that's okay, wonderful. We're riding that wave. But if it goes badly, you are to be debited on your credit cards or whatever, debit cards, accounts, whatever accounts that are in that portfolio, those are all debited to the compound interest of a negative position. And America is not smart enough to do an entire credit default swap hedge around this portfolio to make sure if they did go default on these economic structures that you guys are running light speed with, you're not even letting them see anything. Okay, the exploitation online is one more incredible disrespect to the people. They have no idea what you guys are doing with that portfolio. Okay, and somebody said, Warren Buffett said, if nobody can stop the Bitcoin, okay, all you got to do is pull the plug on the computer, on the beast. All you got to do is pull the plug in Switzerland on this thing, and you're done. Doesn't matter where you are. Digitization is such a false security. I am trying to say that if we return to tactile conduits with flows, the old-fashioned design, you will never, ever, ever be disappointed. Okay? If you just return to some of the original things that aren't so sexy and whatever, seductive, you guys, I don't know. You guys are blowing it. I don't know. Because if we do this infusion and you got Bitcoin, you're putting it into a bag of holes. You're getting the blessing to get us out of poverty, and then you're putting it in a bag of holes with the Bitcoin. And if you do gold, right? You do the new currency in gold. Well, let me tell you something. They have jerk-chained us into recessions with gold and silver. Is it an intrinsic, Maiden? Yes, it's an intrinsic, but it is an extrinsic intrinsic. It isn't an intrinsic, which is what we need. All right? The human life is the intrinsic, the highest. The animals are below us. That is our stewardship, our land, our animals, our homesteads, and all therein of our living here on earth. All right? So my point is this. The reason why the human trafficking, biomatter, black market, slavery, human life, slavery, is still moving because it is so incredibly valuable. Okay, the actual person showing up in their physical body, that person is incredibly valuable. All right? Then you get into the biomatter of that person and you start scientifically quantifying blah, blah, blah. There is, that goes into the perpetuity. That is the history. That goes into, it doesn't end. It doesn't end When you guys say, where are we going to get the money? It just shows me you guys absolutely have absolutely no idea what you're doing. If you can't find money, you're just lazy. I mean, I don't have any money in my checking account unless my husband gives me money. And I'm not ashamed to say that, because all of the money that I am offered is debt money. I have all of these either I've got stuff here that is offering me my money. Okay, Spark here. They want they want to charge me interest for my money. Okay, what's wrong with that picture? That's disrespectful. Can't do it. Okay, LifeLock. Looking at LifeLock. Okay, you guys, class action on false advertising right here. They say crap about $1 million policy if they can break through, and they break through, and they go, oh no, that's our $1 million to research what it is about your thing. Very, very discriminatory in terms, predatory. Here's one, Geico, Warren Buffett's company. We're part of Geico. Okay, we have Geico insurance, and here it is. They're selling me Geico. Bill Roberts, President, Chief Operating Officer. He's not thanking me for my business. This is a sample letter. This is just a letter that they send to people to get policies. I don't really know. I mean, it's like you guys don't even care that you look ridiculous. Okay? I'm really surprised, and this is supposed to be unlimited cash back. You guys, unlimited cash back. You know, it's 1.5%. You think we're so stupid. You really do. And you know what? You have an argument there, because you've been able to do this consumer credit thing that is completely bogus and totally predatory with your interest rates. And interest, I've told you guys, that's criminal. Okay? Ethical. What is ethical? What is ethical is to pull the curtain back and show a person's fidelity account. Okay? To show the A for V. To show the UCC jurisdiction money on each person. Dude. And that's just to show substantiation of my point that you need to create a brand new currency. We the people, for the people, by the people, America. Not a world currency. No, negative. It is about our pioneering, our freedom. Every country needs to be doing this with their own country. But, it's like to be in a one world thing, okay? That is in our best interest. It's never been in our best interest. And so we can drag our feet all we want. Well, the Bible says that you're going to do it. Well, that Bible doesn't say when we're going to do it. Okay? So it could be 10,000 years from now. It doesn't have to be now. We are holding time. I'm telling you wisdom. I just read you wisdom yesterday. She's holding the time in her hands. If we are smart, we hold the time in our hands. We are holding time in our hands, all of America and all over the world, but you guys are so stubborn that you won't listen very well to somebody who's not holding a gun, and I'm not holding a gun, okay? And you guys with the guns and whatever National Association of Rifle Association, NRA, okay? You guys, because of the power that you're holding in your portfolio, you could be our angels, dude. But you have to have a noble heart. And that is the question. And that is why we all need to walk softly judging. Okay? Now, if you really cared about America, you'd make everybody get insured who has a gun. And you can say, well, Misha, you just put it, you're all over the insurance companies and then you recommend insurance. Well, I did say that if you can have America own her own insurance, hello, by giving everybody a mandate of insurance, you actually are having a portfolio there. Hello. And a wonderful investment as secondary security there. I am not putting down everything that we have here. It's like a puzzle, and you created something very predatory with it over 300 years. Now I'm saying, can't we use the same pieces and go over here like Scrabble and put together a new word, a new vision, a new thing with the other pieces? But we're not going to take this apart because we're going to hurt ourselves. So we're going to come over here and we're going to create brand new, a fresh, clean, quantified, brand new intrinsic value system. Okay, with a new currency inside of America that is not gold or silver from, it is a bio currency. This is a bio currency. You can use hair, hair from our president if he wants to put his face on the currency. Okay, and I am serious. This is, you don't have to go right to blood. People can go, well, what about blood? Right. That isn't Jesus's blood, is the blood that is going to give is the true dispensation of wealth. So the blood of Jesus Christ is a quantifiable estate. I believe it is with either Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, or with Her Majesty, because she's got the crypts there in England, of Mary Magdalene. I know that. Okay. So yeah, it would be awesome to have the blood of Jesus Christ on the new currency. Yeah. But it is a dispensation of grace, right? So the owner, not the ownership, but the management. The definition of economy is domestic management, right? So what we're doing here is building systems to live together. Come home. When you come home, you get refreshed, you get, you stay if you want to stay, but if you stay, you usually end up working at home. You end up working on the estate. You end up working on the community. You end up, if you got a healthy community. Here in Santa Fe, you can't work on the community very easy unless you're part of the ring. And then if you're out of the ring, then you get to get kicked around a lot and have a lot of stuff taken from you and bullied and all kinds of good stuff. Yeah. So it's an interesting culture here. Yeah. Really tribal. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that we all have to be higher thinking, okay? Smarter, not harder, right? And so line it up with the heaven. Line in Jesus. Is Jesus in heaven? Absolutely. Is he also here? Yeah, he's everywhere, omnipotent. Yeah, get your arms around that math, right? So we are in a place where we have to have this respect for God first. So when you have these conversations and you don't even bring up God, that is a disrespect, okay? So we want to bring a new currency forward that is attached literally to the people, okay? And that is their absolute, they are the vault, the people. Inside, where you can't, everything about the person can't even be contained. One human being, everything about them can never, ever, ever be contained. All of it. That's why Jesus says our true nature is sovereign. Because we transcend. Our brain thoughts transcend, move mountains, with faith. And then that's our spirit and our soul is faith. The most powerful part of a human life is what you cannot see about them. Okay. And as far as like what you guys don't even want to make a cake for these people and you don't even know who they are and you're attaching it to their sexuality, you have absolutely no idea what's going on. And so I think what God is calling us to do, so we don't be so we're not getting really disrespectful with people in their freedom, is that we are required to discern where we're going and what we're doing and how to navigate out of, if you are uncomfortable with the culture of the people that are there and that is their home base, because that possession is 9/10 of the law. So if you walk into somewhere, that's their domain. Okay. So the precedence is their business. They have already been in business. That is the proof that they're not predatory upon this couple. Okay, so then the couple walks in and they're being judged, and it is their job to navigate out of that offense. Nobody stopped them from leaving as easy as they walked in the door. The free will to walk in the door is the free will to leave the situation. By them standing there and pressing and pressing and pressing, they knew that, I mean, you can, past a certain point of pressing the issue is then the new evidence of battering. You're battering away at somebody. You have the free will to leave. You didn't leave. You want to press the issue. Our job as sovereigns is to navigate in our freedom. Okay? Navigate in our freedom. If you can win a person over and who has always said no, and you can win their heart to say yes, that's because of relationship or something about you that they liked, okay, and cared about, to make that concession. But concessions are free will, okay? So in this situation with the Supreme Court and this gay couple, the gay couple's got free will, and the baker has free will, and the baker goes in and makes a bakery so they can bake for the people. But if somebody comes in, you have no idea if this baker has had issues or events or a whole life of whatever regarding whatever this is. Okay, so it's a free will on both sides. It's a free will for them to walk in the door and walk out, and it's a free will for the owner to refuse service to anyone for any reason. It's up to them. It's up to them. That's their business. They understand it better than anyone else. We have to prioritize ethics, guys. We have to give ourselves this control. And if you are always controlling the situation in our Congress and in our House and in our president's, vice president seats, then we are never allowing our country to walk, okay, and to be free, to learn what it feels like to be free. And freedom comes with a navigation system, but a navigation system that is extremely intelligent to say, this is where you are. This is what is in front of you right now. And a navigation system can tell if somebody's lying. A navigation system can tell if somebody's got a dangerous vibe on them. Okay? And being weird and wonderful is not dangerous. Being weird is not necessarily dangerous. It's just a matter of how open can you receive and accept somebody who's different than you. And weird is oftentimes just somebody so different than you. But God says, be careful. You better be careful. And Jesus is weird. Totally weird. Dude, awesomely weird. He is awesomely weird. I mean, he's totally perfect, but dude, quantum, every second, simultaneous. I mean, isn't that incredible? That blows doors on everything. Just sit there and think about that, So let's get on our feet. Chop, chop. Let's do this, okay? Our Congress and our House, as your mom of America here, Okay, because that's exactly what God has done, is He put a burden in my heart just to be a mom to you guys, and with leadership and understanding and not disrespect. And so please forgive me if I ever disrespect you guys, because I don't mean to do that, but there is so much here in front of us that we could be doing and just have an incredible time. All right? So the structures are going to stay in place. You don't touch anything. You don't touch anything. Okay, if you can see a systemic criminality, then you don't touch anything. And you turn off the water. It's just like a plumbing system that you're abandoning. But you're going to respect the system because it built America. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to build an internal system of America that is going to have an intrinsic quantification. It's going to be really awesome. I want to come and help you guys. This is primary to the secondary, which is my campaign to run for president. It isn't my heart really to run for president. I mean, it is exhausting just thinking about it. I mean, I love the people. I would love to travel all over my country and meet people and sing and speak on freedom and just know that, you know, we really have this, and this is really coming now to the people, flowing directly into all of the infrastructure that is in America, all over where it's been neglected, and we just bring green. It's that Lion King movie big time, you know, when the desert all of a sudden becomes fertile and green and wonderful. And we can do that, guys, if we care enough. We can do that. So what I'm trying to say is that the currency allocation can come forward immediately, okay? We need I have this plan here for you, but it's very special. And it's not to be just treated tritely. It's got a lot of very specific care to it, to all of the stewards who actually want to do it. But you have not even talked to me. You have not even responded to me directly. You have not even sent me an email other than I have $18 million in a Federal Express, blah, blah, blah. And it is coming from Vice President Pence. And it is coming from Melania Trump's email. But I don't buy it. I don't buy it for 1 second. So you guys are going to have a little bit more courage to come and knock on my door. 3600 Cerrillos Road, Suite 734. You can bring the check if it's real. And let's go do this, guys, because we really can be leaders of freedom, sovereignty for all of the world. We really can be leaders of ambassadors of wealth for all over the world, where we go into countries that are not our own without an agenda of ownership for us. If they want to build partnerships, once they get strong, we'll talk about it. But for right now, we're not there for that. We're there for us to show them how to bring wealth to every single life. Okay? The sovereignty, the freedom, without hurting anyone. Okay? So you have the strongest, the 1% at the same table as the weakest in the poverty, in the deepest of poverty of every single country. That's America. That is what we're supposed to be doing. We are leaders, even though we're little. We're not little. And we're powerful. And every time our military shows up, they need to be shareholders. They're the only ones that get to be shareholders like that. Okay? But as far as ambassadors of sovereignty, when we go into other countries, we are not there first to take from them. We're there first to scout out the land and see what have they dropped the ball on? What did they miss? What are they not realizing? Right? And then immediately God brings the plan. But it is like Rhema. It isn't. God is amazing. He's like, when we get there, we'll talk about it. But until we get there, we're not talking about that because we're not there. We're still bound here. Okay? They bound us up. And how did they do that? How did America get bound into a corporate identity over a sovereign country? How did she do that? How did we end up with a Federal Reserve System in the heartbeat of America flowing through everything she's doing in her mainland and on contract, upside down and backwards, big time on value of the human lives that keep this country awesome? And what happened? She got bound. Well, when you look at the root word of bound, it's bond. We were bonded. We got bonded in the wrong way. So how do you fix a bond on our lives that is bonded to us in the wrong way? Well, it goes into the consciousness of freedom. Right then and there, that's the question. That's what the Supreme Court wants to look at. What is the consciousness of freedom here? Okay? So the consciousness of freedom for us to get free is for you to identify the bonds. And the bonds is all of the contracts, all of the laws, all of the legislation, all of drinking this deep water Kool-Aid. Okay, so it's very, very, very simple. Okay, you're going to appoint somebody with the checkbook. Now, our Secretary of State Tillerson, I really felt like we could trust him with the checkbook. I don't know why he's being dismissed. Okay, but whoever Secretary of State is holding the checkbook, all right, and we need to make sure that as we go forward, you know, if the division that is there, like the Treasury Department, they are totally in a headlock from the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve has bullied everybody. If you tell people this or that, you know, you're going to get killed. Hello? Okay. Let me tell you something, everyone who's working for the federal government. Your value is worth more dead than alive. And if you care about that, your eyes will be open and you will understand who's fighting for your freedom to turn that around. And I believe it's our Congress, our House, our president. We have a president who is got so much courage, you guys. He, you know, I mean, I am just really proud of him. Now he can go into his own sector, which is the gambling casinos, which those guys are rascals. And if he can get them to bow a knee, dude, big time. Because we can turn our systems in the casinos and all the games into intellectual quantification. Okay? Where it brings credibility actually to gambling. New dignity to going in and gambling your brain power. You're going in with your intelligence. Okay? You're going in with what you know in that sector and you get to pick. Okay? So it is really, really a big deal. And it's kind of like a fun university, learning all, you know, where you guys can set it up, and so that's what you're doing. You're going up against artificial intelligence and all of these games, all of you, inside of the casinos. The celebration that God has for us is this Jubilee, to be free. And then America needs to commit to the process of freedom. And you're going to have people out of control, and you need to know how to bring them back into control. Not of you controlling them, but them controlling themselves. This is about the fruit of the Spirit, Jesus Christ. His Spirit is all about self-control, okay? And it doesn't mean you can't have fun and you can't party or whatever. You know, you guys need to know you can celebrate. You can go and have parties and enjoy and dance and rejoice and celebrate and all that other good stuff. Goodness, you're not turned into some weird person. And then you go back to what's weird. Okay, so I'm saying I shouldn't say weird person in a bad way. Okay, you're not going back. You're not going to become somebody that you're not. Okay. You're going to have a heart that you probably have not had care. You've really never probably cared the way that God is going to bring you into. And you need to not be afraid of that. And don't care selfishly. Care out of a place where you don't expect any return. Okay? And you will be amazed what you receive. If you just give from the goodness, and you give because it's right, and you do this and you set this up right because it's right, you will be amazed at the return of investment. It is so incredibly gigantic. Okay? So sharehold status for all users of the the retail sectors. Sharehold status, that needs to be a huge thing. You guys offer shareholds of, you need to start new books on every huge corporation who's going to actually come down out of the clouds and become a real investor in infrastructure of tactile conduit of energy and money and all therein. Okay? Pony Express is still being talked about, all therein. Our post office needs to be given a bigger stewardship of infrastructure, because they're totally on the front lines every single day. Wind, rain, sleet, snow, they're delivering mail. Okay, that's my point right there. That is the heartbeat. That our mail systems on the ground, boots on the ground, mail systems these guys are the ones that are showing you evidentiary that the tactile conduit systems are available. Okay, but I spent almost $1,000, which is ridiculous, getting FedEx to deliver a birthday present to Russia for Vladimir Putin. It was a sculpture, and it got stopped in Germany, and whoever opened it up, because it got lost in Germany, whoever opened it up just completely took it all apart and then put it back together. Just like, dude, it's like, you guys are barbarians or over there or what, Don't you have a scanning device to understand what's inside of something? Do you have to take it apart? And then they sent it back. It never got delivered. I never got a refund. I called the owner of FedEx in his home, spoke with his maid, and then spoke with his wife. And she's like, yeah, I don't know. I'll leave a message. She was nice. And then on the same bill, at that same time during Christmas, or right before Christmas, I sent Her Majesty stuff for Prince George, which I still have, and it never got delivered. It was like $500, both of them together. There should be royal mail that you can give to our, public here. We're a state capital of the United States of America, one of the oldest state capitals, and there is no infrastructure to get gifts to our, there is no way. How are we supposed to ever be on another page if you can't really just be okay to send gifts? I mean, they're having children, and, Vladimir Putin, he's a rascal. But why is it that he, Kim Jong-un is saying, let me, we'll talk peace if he's at the table? Because he's the boss? Is he the boss? Did you guys make him the boss? Okay, that's not good. Because he can't even represent honestly here. He's a good boss if he represents honestly. And is he being honest about America's involvement? No. He's not being honest. Okay, guys, we have to do this. America has to lead. I don't care who says who's the boss. America, you have a high calling on your life because of our foundations in Jesus Christ. You have a very high calling on your life to do extremely well. And do not ever disrespect that in your own life. How important it is, the role that you're playing for your states, all of your 50, we've got dynasty trusts in every single state, guys. I sent that file. And then we've got our House of Representatives. The administration side of this, I want you guys to know, is upside down. The value... They have seductively done this, okay? The administration element has become the highest sector, when in reality, The highest sector is ecclesiastical jurisdiction. Okay? Admiralty law, they say that we're surrounded by it, but you look at this, the obstruction of justice from where the actual little guy stands, like me, to get to my ecclesiastical jurisdiction. And I've written to Papa Francisco about this. I can't even sue the people that got a hold of my body and did what they did to it in ICU because they're under St. Francis of Assisi's name in ecclesiastical jurisdiction, and the Bible clearly says don't sue the brethren. So even though I'm not a Catholic and all these priests are freaking out over there doing ungodly things, I still am part of that ecclesiastical jurisdiction. Those are still my brothers and sisters over there in the Vatican freaking out. Okay, so just because you're not the religion that you are looking at doesn't mean that God is going to absolve you from caring that these guys are tweaking. You know, these guys are totally tweaking in Eros, the Eros sector. Dude. I mean, if you're so horny, don't be a priest. Dude, it's not that hard. Or if you're going to be a priest, be somewhere where, you know, you can, the Bible says marry, or, you know, it's better to marry than to burn with lust in your heart. But I don't even recommend getting married because you got a lustful heart. I don't like that at all. I mean, God wants you to get a hold of yourself and get a hold of Him. Okay? All right, budgets and all of that is second to this issue. Ethics. Ethics, 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 ethics. I can't tell you enough about the value all therein. It is a huge world of monetization. Okay? And I know that the ethics issue is about morality and your honesty within yourself, being able to tell the truth to yourself, put yourself in a position to be a truthful person, which is going to be hard for our attorneys. See, this is the deal. Our attorneys are so important, but they've been corrupted in their education and in the orientation of the Bar Association, because the bar holds them to be beholden to the bar. So there is no true freedom for them. They're locked in, and unless they comply, you know, if they get too free, then they're ostracized. I mean, it really has been strategic, highly strategic. Okay, so I need you guys to realize you are changing America's. You are literally breaking these bondhold. I mean, you're not breaking the bondhold, because we are going to, once we get strong in this new system of integrity and intrinsics, we're going to redeem the old system. Okay? But we have to move double time to do this, you guys. And we can't attach America's currency to something that you can just crash. Gold can be crashed. Silver can be crashed. All of everything can be crashed except for the human life. Okay? You can't crash the human life. Doesn't line up with the Word of God. Human life is eternal. Eternal. And by the blood of Jesus, that sets the precedence right there about boundaries. And He has already reached down into the depths of hell and death, and has the keys of dominion, power, and authority over all of that. So death and taxes is over. Okay? When you think of death, it's really interesting because right here the body dies. But even then, there's value. And then beyond that, the spirit goes, and there is no death there. If you live your life in an evil, wicked place, you wouldn't even enjoy heaven. Okay? If you're so sold out on wickedness and evil, number one, you shouldn't be working for our government. If you're really tied up in a lot of it and you refuse to say no, you should be fired, because you're not really you're not there to really represent America. You're not there to be you're not there to stand the ground for integrity for all that who has lost their lives in this journey of freedom and royal love. Yeah, you're in the way. Okay? And if we come down to a nubule of our Congress and House because you guys really did say we're done here with these people who are creating this criminal ambiance, everybody can be forgiven, so be careful with this. Jesus doesn't even want you going through the churches and separating wheats and tares. He doesn't want you doing that. It's his job. We're not to go into sacred places in people's lives and start judging them. Okay? We're just to remind people you are in control of yourself. You have freedom to come and go. So if you don't exercise your freedom and you got yourself in a situation, turn around and walk away. Protect yourself. Go to somebody who does want to help you. Okay. Ethics is the issue. And when you see dividends and you see cash flow and you've seen it on your books forever and you sit back and you look good in yourself, you might want to rethink that. Right there. Artificial intelligence is going to bust people on stuff. They're going to say double-mindedness. They're going to say lying. They're going to say criminalities. I mean, they're going to start calling it. So all of us have to be able to stand in the convictions of who we truly are before God, and have confidence and courage and boldness in that place, founded in true faith. And faith is given to us by God. So, I mean, God is so generous. God is so generous. And he says, in me, you're truly free. And in that is a substantially, all-sufficiency grace. Substantiated. Okay, so substance. You've actually been given the substance of your faith. And the Bible talks about that when the substance comes through to really show you that your faith you held strong. And here's this incredible blessing based on your legacy of before you, and however far we can really do well with this to plan for the future. Okay, I love you guys. Again, Eros love. In Eros love, you have the polarizations. In every sector, you have polarizations. You have conservative all the way to liberal, out of control, whatever. Okay, wickedness and evil can be out of control. You being out of control. Wickedness and evil can take you there. You're not wickedness and evil. God is separating you from all of that in your identity before him. But you can get caught up in wickedness and evil simply by not taking control of yourself. Okay, it's that simple. If you made a big decision to yourself, go look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm going to get a hold of myself. I'm going to get myself under control of myself. That's sovereignty. That's freedom. Okay? Don't put that on other people. That gay couple could have turned around immediately and got out of there, so they didn't have to go through that. The guy said, I can't make a cake for gay couples or whatever. They just needed to turn around and leave. Boom, out the door. So you're not susceptible to anything like that. Okay, if that's all it takes for you to be hurt, then you're not in control of yourself. You're making everybody else in control of you. And that's not fair. That's not true. That's not strong for you. You're quitting by doing that. All right? So America, our founding fathers if they were alive today, which they spiritually have a dynamic of everything they did back then is still alive. We're looking right at it in the Constitution. Okay? So if you want to know the standing power of your decisions, there you go. We're all looking at this Constitution, right? And it's been violated drastically. And we need you to connect us to our Constitution over and above administration. Right. It's the same as that somebody says, where rubber meets the road, where we are down here, the little guys on the streets who are the blue-collar workers that keep this America strong, and our truckers that keep the America strong in terms of trade. Hello. And the respect for some of these workers that are dumping trash and being in the trenches and the plumbing and the heating and all of that, you guys, septic systems and dude, and there's so much disrespect here. It runs deep. You will be really well rewarded if you start quantifying true intrinsic care and freedom of really wonderful systems. Okay, estates, sharehold status for all illegal seizures, retroactive from the beginning of our country to now. You guys, it's all there in front of you. Okay? All right, let me just pray for you, Father. Thank you for this time with my country. Whoever's going to listen to this, I pray that you will just do miracles, that you will give them a respect in their hearts, God, that they've never had before, for you and for all things that you have for us, God, in this place of integrity, in this place of love, true love, royal love, based in 1 Peter 2, 9, and 10, that we would be priests and priestesses of righteousness and care and stewards in our highest calling of royal love before you. We thank you for this task. It is noble and it is beautiful. And I believe in my country and I believe in this world. And I pray that you'll take this message all across the world, Lord, and honor every country, every race, every creed, every color, every race, that you, God, would just bring forward this revival of hearts to truly love and care and want to do well with you in our structures and all of the abundance therein. Father, in Jesus' precious and mighty name I pray for all of our world here, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, guys, I love you. I want to come. Freedom. If you're going to do taxes, you're going to do bondage. If you're going to do taxes, you're going to do slavery. And we are not on the same side, so don't call me. The only way you're going to call me is if you have freedom in your heart and fight for it as much as I have been. Okay? Bye-bye.